Hello YouTube. So I'm about to do an oil change here on my Dyna Street Bob, and this is the 103 motor, just so if you're new to the channel. And I'm using a standard Harley oil, and you have to buy 3 of them because you're gonna use 2.5 quarts of them. So I have a half quart here for my last oil change when I did the 500 mile, and so I'm gonna use those. And I have the oil filter wrench. This is a Harley brand. You don't need this, but I got it anyway since I was already there. And I have a, the new oil O-ring here and the oil filter, the black oil filter. I went ahead and so here's the tool I'm gonna use. Just a 5/8 box wrench for the oil drain plug, and I went ahead and removed the Jiffy stand bump stop. It might take a little bit of force to remove. Just pull down on it, and it will just kind of clip back. There's not much orientation. It's easy to put back into how it goes. It's not you can't get it confused. So it only goes in kind of one way because the other parts of it just doesn't fit right. And so yeah, it's not too hard. And so here's something new for me. I'm gonna try to use this weird funnel here. So it goes your oil filter. It goes under the oil filter, so it saves you the mess. When you remove it without this, it will just drain to the engine case and your engine mounts, and it's hard to clean. So this does is you just put it under, and then you punch a hole on the surface of the oil filter here on the surface, and then it will just drain before you unscrew it, and then it will be empty. And then when you unscrew it, not much will fall out, if anything. So I'm gonna give this a try, and I'll show you guys how it works. So we'll get started. Make sure to not forget your gloves when you're doing this, guys, because the oil might be hot, or I let my bike cool down already, so it's not gonna be too hot or uncomfortable. But there you go. Here's the oil drain plug. I'm gonna go clean that. And at this point, while it's draining, it's good to open the oil fill screw or whatever cover on the other side of the bike. So let air in, and then so it will just drain properly. So we'll move on to opening that and move on to the oil filter in a second. Like I mentioned, remove the cover from the other side and just, go ahead and just clean and all that if you want. So you can just see how dirty the oil got and things like that. You can inspect if there's flakes and stuff in it. This doesn't seem to be too bad. It's really clean. I mean, I only had 2,000 or so miles before I changed it. But and then clean the oil drain plug here. And if you need use a pick to pick the O-ring out, but do whatever works for you. After you thoroughly cleaned and wiped the surface area here of the drain plug, just take your new O-ring here, new O-ring washer, and then make sure to coat it with some of the old oil. Just kind of dab onto it. You don't have to put a lot. It just has to be lubricated so that when you tighten it, it doesn't get ripped, because of when it's dry, it will just rip. It will grip in the surface, and it will just cause it to get damaged. So, and put that there. It's hard with the gloves on, so there you go. This one will be ready to go back when it's fully drained. So here we are. It's the first time I'm doing this, so forgive me if I mess up, but basically you just puncture a hole through here. Let's see how easy this is, or not. Yeah, it's hard to get access to it. So basically what I did is just, put this on there. You don't have to worry about, how secure it is on the back, because all the oil is supposed to just come out from here. So, so make sure you, yeah, make sure the hole is indeed there. Let's see. And it's all secure, and then you just, I guess you pull it out. And there is oil coming out, so is it doing? Okay, so it looks like it's doing it. So first time was a little awkward, like I said. I punched a hole in the middle. You're supposed to punch a hole at the top and then turn it so it will be on the bottom, but I didn't do that. When I punched a hole in the middle, and then I punched another hole in the top. So it has that it doesn't have that vacuum, so it has air. It'll help the flow. So once I punched the hole, the flow was much faster than before. So while we're waiting, you can take your new filter here and you can coat it with the old oil on the surface here. So just take one from, from the old one and just kind of coat it with your finger. You guys already know this. Just saying it for the people that don't. And just put that aside. Hey, so while you're waiting for the oil to drain, just take a moment to look at all the areas you're working on, see if there's any spills, leaks, clean them up, assess the bike overall. If you see anything weird, it's the perfect time to do that. So, if you get, that's the nice part about doing oil changes and things like that yourself, because you're doing it right, and you're paying extra care. The dealership won't really do that for you unless they do, so. Okay guys, so after about, 10 minutes, 15 minutes or something like that, maybe 10. Looks like the drip has slowed down, so it looks like we are maybe safe to pull the air filter out without too much mess. So I'm gonna go try and do that now. So we're back again. Skipped a few steps because I can't hold the camera and do this at the same time. I fit the new filter on there, so I removed the old one, put this one back on. There wasn't too much of a mess. Just make sure that while you have this on there, make sure to use the wrench. If you can somehow do it, just try to loosen it while this is on there, because there's still, you can never be sure. I still kind of made a mess somehow because I wasn't really sure, how it would happen. I don't know what will happen with this on there. It's just I made a little bit of mess, but it's not as bad as my first time where this whole thing just dropped on the floor and all the oil just went on the floor. So I fit the oil drain plug back there. Make sure to lubricate the O-ring and put it back there, just snug, finger tight. And I just use this snug, and all this one too, just snug, hand tight. Didn't torque it yet, or don't torque the oil filter. I didn't torque the drain plug yet, and I'm about to go and fill it with the new oil now. So back in a sec. So when you're done putting the drain plug back on there, which is that screw, don't forget to put the rubber bump stop here for the jiffy stand, or else you'll just hit your frame when you kick your kickstand up. So it sits right in front of that screw, so you can't miss it. It only goes in on that spot, and you don't have to do anything special. Just kind of push it back in there, and it will just go. All right. Yep. So now we're at the point where we fill the engine back up with new oil. So nothing special with this. Make sure you don't spill anything. And I have exactly 2.5 quarts here, so I don't have to measure or anything. I just have to dump the whole oil, everything in here. So. Alright YouTube, so all that's left now is the first start. Let the oil cycle through. It's gonna be loud, it's kinda late. Let the bike cool down. Check the oil level again. Check for leaks. Check if you're leaking in the oil filter side and if you're leaking on the oil drain side. So it looks like everything is all good. I'm just waiting for the temperature to settle down. I warmed it up, idling, just so normal operating temperatures, and then get the oil cycled through the oil filter. Because initially when you change the oil and then you read it, it's gonna be weird because the oil hasn't cycled through to the oil filter, so you might read that it's too much. So the real reading is when you put 2.5 quarts based on the manual. Start the bike, idle it, let it warm up, let it do its thing, and let it cool down. Then check again, and then that's where you get the because you can only trust the manual. So you drain the whole thing, you drain the oil filter, you change the oil filter, you put 2.5 quarts, and you can't mess it up any more than that. That's what they told you to put. So right now we're in the waiting game. I'm just gonna wait it out, check again, and that's pretty much it. Pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for watching.